In the face of unimaginable horror, a voice rose from the ashes of despair. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. These words, spoken by Ida B. Wells, resonate with the relentless pursuit of justice that defined her life. An investigative journalist and fearless activist, Wells stood at the forefront of one of America's most harrowing issues, lynching. In the 19th century, when the lives of Black Americans were extinguished with chilling regularity, she refused to remain silent. Instead, she wielded her pen as a weapon against the darkness threatening the marginalized and oppressed. This tumultuous period in American history witnessed the end of the Civil War, yet the struggle for racial equality raged on. Reconstruction faltered, and white supremacy manifested in violence claiming countless Black lives. Lynching became a weapon of terror, reinforcing racial hierarchies and silencing dissent. Between 1882 and 1968, over 4,700 lynchings were recorded, the majority of victims being African American men, women, and children. Amidst this chaos, one woman emerged, determined to shed light on the atrocities plaguing her community. Ida B. Wells was born into slavery in 1862 in Holly Springs, Mississippi. After the Civil War, her parents died from a yellow fever epidemic, leaving her to assume responsibility for her family at a tender age. Despite the odds against her, Wells pursued education and became a teacher. Yet, the systemic racism she confronted daily ignited a fire within her, a commitment to justice that would transform her into a powerful figure in American history. As she transitioned from teaching to journalism, Wells harnessed the power of the written word, channeling her experiences into articles exposing the brutal realities of racial violence. In 1884, her life changed forever when she was forcibly removed from a train car for refusing to give up her seat to a white passenger. Documenting the incident ignited her journey as a crusader for justice. Wells's investigative zeal intensified as she delved deeper into lynching. She discovered that many lynchings were justified by false accusations against Black men, often centered around unfounded claims of crimes against white women. In 1892, after the lynching of her friend Thomas Moss and two other men in Memphis, Tennessee, Wells produced her seminal pamphlet, Southern Horrors: Lynch Law in All Its Phases. With razor-sharp analysis, she exposed the hypocrisy underpinning these acts, challenging the narratives that justified lynching. Her work was a powerful indictment of a society that turned a blind eye to racial terror. Each lynching represented a loss of life, a family shattered. Wells's dedication to truth drew attention from not only Black communities but also allies across the nation and around the world. She became a prominent figure in the anti-lynching movement, fervently advocating for justice, safety, and civil rights, uniting voices against the common enemy of hatred and violence. As her influence grew, so did the backlash. Wells faced threats, violence, and ostracism for her outspoken criticism of white supremacy. Yet she remained undeterred, her resolve only strengthening. Her efforts galvanized others to join the fight against lynching, transforming a local concern into a national and international movement. What began as a solitary voice became a chorus demanding change, justice, and accountability. Lynching was not just a Southern issue, it was an American crisis. Wells took her message beyond U.S. borders, raising awareness about the plight of African Americans in Europe, rallying international support against racial violence. She understood that the fight for justice was a global struggle against oppression. Though Wells faced tremendous challenges and personal sacrifices, her legacy lives on. Her pioneering journalism and unwavering commitment to truth illuminated the path for future civil rights activists. The fight she waged against lynching was about dignity, humanity, and the collective struggle for equality. The echoes of her words continue to resonate today as we confront ongoing injustices and strive for a more equitable society. Wells stepped onto a stage of violence and hate, where the specter of lynching hung over African American communities in the late 19th century. After the lynching of 3 Black men in Memphis in 1892, she unleashed her pen, challenging the justifications for these brutal acts, declaring, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them." Her words ignited outrage and sparked a movement, marking a pivotal moment in the fight against lynching. What set Wells apart was not just her writing but her tireless advocacy. She traveled extensively, delivering lectures and sharing the harrowing stories of those who suffered. By bringing these atrocities to light, she confronted a society that indulged in violence. Each speech was a call to action, a relentless drumbeat for justice that resonated from crowded halls to small-town gatherings. Her presence commanded attention, and her words flowed with an urgency that demanded recognition. The stakes were high, and the risks palpable. Facing threats to her life, her home bombed, Wells knew the burden of being a woman of color speaking against entrenched injustice. Yet fear only fueled her resolve. In 1893, she took her fight abroad, compelling an international audience to recognize America's brutality. Her eloquence transformed the narrative, forcing people to confront the stark reality of the racial violence their country often ignored. She spoke at the International Council of Women in London, where she passionately highlighted the plight of Black Americans, drawing parallels between the struggles for gender equality and racial justice. In Southern Horrors, Lynch Law in All Its Phases, Wells meticulously compiled data revealing that the majority of lynching victims were not the criminals portrayed in media but innocent individuals caught in systemic racism. She didn't just shed light on victims, she humanized them. Each name was a life lost, a family shattered. Her commitment to factual journalism created a vital record of these injustices, daring society to face the truth. Wells's work was a manifesto for change. She called for legal reform, demanding the U.S. government take responsibility for the violence inflicted upon African Americans. While the nation turned a deaf ear, she rallied support, urging communities to fight back against lynching through organized resistance. She pushed for economic boycotts against businesses employing those involved in lynching, linking economic power to civil rights. Her intersectional approach connected the fight against racial violence to broader social movements, laying a foundation for future coalitions. As she navigated hostile environments, Wells laid the groundwork for future organizations, including the NAACP. Her legacy inspired generations of activists, echoing through the corridors of the civil rights movement. People like Martin Luther King Jr. drew strength from her courage, recognizing her as a precursor in the battle for equality. The ripple effect of her work extended far beyond her lifetime, influencing countless leaders who would rise to challenge injustices in their own times. Ida B. Wells fought not just for her people but for principles of justice and dignity that reverberate throughout history. Her legacy transcends time, reminding us that the struggle for equality is far from over. Reflecting on her journey, we recognize her relentless pursuit of truth and justice as an essential pillar of the ongoing fight against oppression. In the late 19th century, a storm brewed in the South, fueled by fear and misunderstanding. Yet it was within this chaos that Wells emerged as an indomitable force. Driven by an unwavering commitment to justice, she documented the heinous acts of lynching plaguing American society. Her journey began in 1892 following the murder of 3 Black men in Memphis: Thomas Moss, Calvin McDowell, and Henry Stewart. They were lynched for competing with a white-owned business, an act of racial terrorism igniting a fire in Wells' heart, compelling her to act. Wells launched a campaign shaking America's conscience, publishing findings in Southern Horrors, Lynch Law in All Its Phases. She confronted prevailing myths justifying lynching, challenging narratives painting Black men as predators. Her words were unyielding, meticulously citing cases, laying bare the truth: lynching maintained white supremacy. Each pamphlet she distributed was not merely paper, it was a lifeline, a weapon against the oppressive forces that sought to erase the humanity of Black Americans. Yet this path was fraught with challenges. Facing pushback, threats, and violence, Wells became a traveling lecturer, commanding attention with her fervent speeches. At the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, she faced racial exclusion. Despite her achievements, denied space to showcase her pamphlets, she continued to write, using her pen against injustice. She established her own publication, the Memphis Free Speech, which became a platform for her unfiltered truth. Each article she penned resonated with the anguish and resilience of a community yearning for acknowledgement. Wells became a fierce advocate for women's rights, intertwining the struggles for racial and gender equality. In 1895, she joined the National Association of Colored Women, advocating for Black women's suffrage and workforce rights. Her belief was simple: justice could not be achieved for one marginalized group without extending it to all. Her activism was comprehensive, recognizing that the threads of oppression were woven into a tapestry too complex to unravel without addressing every strand. In 1909, Wells co-founded the NAACP alongside leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois and Jane Addams. The organization became a formidable ally in combating racial discrimination, continuing the very injustices Wells tirelessly documented. Facing challenges within the NAACP, she remained steadfast, reminding everyone that silence is complicity. During her lifetime, she witnessed the slow but inevitable shift in public consciousness regarding racial injustices, a movement she helped shape. Ida B. Wells' tenacity and profound courage became the foundation for future movements for justice. Her voice, urgent and passionate, continues to resonate in those who fight against oppression today. Her efforts bore fruit as the civil rights movement gained momentum across the 20th century. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. drew inspiration from her relentless pursuit of truth, recognizing her as a vital force in the fight for equality. Wells' legacy is not just one of resistance but a testament to the power of truth. She declared that the pursuit of justice is a collective endeavor, demanding the courage to confront uncomfortable truths and the determination to forge a more equitable society. In every word she penned and every speech she delivered, she planted seeds of hope, blossoming into a relentless pursuit of justice and equality for all. Ida B. Wells reshaped the contours of justice in America, igniting a fire that inspires generations. It is our privilege and responsibility to carry that flame forward, ensuring her legacy endures and embracing the power of truth in our continuous pursuit of equality and justice for all.